What is it? Somebody said that cell phones are like women. They love to be held, they love to be talked to, but push the wrong button and you're disconnected.
That's a great joke for the day.
Wow.
But they're not smiling. They're not smiling, Jim.
That was awesome.
I'll pay for that one later.
Yeah.
This is the way I love to wake up in the morning, giggling and laughing.
Yeah.
Will I be able to screen share?
If you'd like, all you have
Yes,
to do
I
is
would.
ask.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll let you.
Thank you.
Wow, isn't it amazing how long a minute can take before?
Time.
Yeah.
I should start talking right about now.
Well, Randolph will begin the meeting for sure.
Oh.
He's great.
Oh, everybody's here. Hi, kids. Sorry, I was.
All right, everyone. It's now 7:00 a.m. and it's time for our Earlybird Toastmasters meeting. I am Randolph Bastine, your Sergeant at Arms, and the mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive, positive learning experience, which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. As we continue to meet by Zoom, we ask that you practice good Zoom etiquette by keeping yourself muted unless you're an active speaker. We encourage you to use the chat feature to send a message to everyone or a private message to a speaker. And now it is my honor to present to you today's presiding officer, Distinguished Toastmaster Kip Barkley.
Buongiorno! I am the stand-in for Paulo. He had important business to deal with, and so you got me, and it's great to be here. Welcome to Earlybird Toastmasters. Do we have a grammarian's word of the day? Oh, do display that. Tell us about it.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. The word of the day is iteration. It's a noun, and it's a version or incarnation of the operating system, the act or process of iterating or repeating. Synonyms are duplication, repetition, replay. An example is your constant iteration of the same piddling complaints is wearing thin. Word of the day is iteration.
Thank you so much. Now let's have an invocation and pledge, and that would be Anna, right?
Yes. Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, any welcome guests. Today's invocation is in the Christian tradition with Bible verses from Isaiah. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Philippians, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. I can do everything through him who gives me strength. Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Back to you, Mr. President.
Please be seated. Let us begin our self-introduction. As soon as the flag goes away and I can get a full screen here, I'll know who I'm introducing. Let's fix that. Gallery, hot dig. Let's hear introductions from Mr. Gould, Mary Helen, Day, and Anna.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, I don't see any guests we were hoping, but I am competent Toastmaster Jim Gould. I also have a couple of pathways, letters, and numbers after my name. I can't remember them offhand. And it's an iteration that happens every week. I don't understand it, but perhaps Carmine can help with remembering those things. I hear he's good at that, Mr. President or Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Yeah, Mr. Presiding Officer and fellow Toastmasters, my name is Mary Helen Day. And they would say, what is the model? Is it Mary Helen Day 101? I think I am Mary Helen Day 105. So I am an iteration, always a little bit different, but always the same. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. And
Mr. Presiding Officer, my name is Anna Ilsen, Innovative Planning Level 3, Engaging Humor Level 3. Sometimes I look at my daughters and I think they're an iteration of me. Mr. President.
thank you. Let's hear from Alita, then Lois, then Tom.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, I am Alita Richmond coming to you from Southwest Pennsylvania, working on presentation mastery and engaging humor. A lot of the Pathways projects seem to be an iteration of the one you just did, but it's fun. It makes it easier. Back to you.
Lois, unmute.
Good morning, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters. I am one of the new members of Toastmasters, and I am learning to stop alliterating my thoughts and be clearer with my words. And I'm learning and enjoying this day, Mr. President.
Excellent. Tom.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, my name is Tom Quinn. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and I appreciate Alita's perspicacious analysis of the Pathways alliterations. They pretty much are all the same, and so are we, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from Jim Day, and then Randolph, and then Pam.
Morning, Mr. Presiding Officer. My name is Jim Day, DTM, and your treasurer. And you will be getting multiple reiterations of the dues are due via text, emails, etc. until you all pay up, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Randolph.
Good morning, Presiding Officer and fellow Toastmasters. And there is no guest today. I am Randolph Bastine, Motivational Strategies, Level 2 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And it's funny, the word of the day is iterations. I was just talking to my daughter last night about habitual actions. So I never heard this word really. So I probably would have used this one, iterations, if I heard that one, if we had the meeting yesterday. Back to you.
Great. Pam.
Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters, our DTMs. I am Pam Scrimshire in Windermere, Florida. I'm working on motivational strategies and engaging humor. Iteration, I think that's probably one of the things that makes us human, that we do things over and over and over. Sometimes we learn, sometimes we don't. Mr. Officer.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from Jose and Carmine and Chris Gould.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer. My name is Jose Ferrer. I'm coming to you from Xavia, Spain. That's how they spell it here in this area. And, you know, I'm trying to do an iteration of Fort Lauderdale. My pool is rather cold, and today they installed this humongous heater thing that is not working yet, but I'm trying to make an iteration of the nice warm water so I can dip in it. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Carmine.
Buongiorno, my fellow Toastmasters. Don't we miss him? Don't we miss him? My name is Carmine Tuzo. I'm a grateful member. I just had a chance the other day to send out an email because I really appreciated the magazine we get now through electronics. And there were some fascinating articles. I sent it to all of you. I hope you get a chance to read them. One of the things that happens in Toastmasters is I had a chance to review. I've been coming here for over 30 years. If that isn't an iteration, I don't know what is. And each time it's new. Each time it's new. So iteration may not be a bad thing. It may be a good thing. If you can look for the good, look for the good. And looking for the good is an iteration itself. Look for the good. Fellow Toastmasters, God bless us all today.
Right. Chris.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, I am Advanced Toastmaster and Presentation Mastery 5, Chris Gould. And I need lots of iterations of doing something before I believe that I'm doing it right. And today, for example, I have to catch a flight right after the meeting to go visit a friend out in Nevada. And I haven't done that in a long time. So I'll probably be bugging out a little bit early here so that I can make sure that I have it together for what I need. And it definitely has been a long time since I've gone anywhere by myself. Am I allowed to do that, Jim? Father, may I? So good to be here, Mr. President.
Thank you. And now we hear from Marie and Scott and myself.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, my name is Marie Rock. I am a Visionary Communicator 5, working on Strategic Relationships 3. On Tuesday night, my husband and I went to see a great blues musician, Keb Mo, and the opening act said they've been on tour with him since July, and the specific iteration of the band that we would hear on Tuesday night would be fantastic, and it certainly was. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Thank you. Scott.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, good morning. I'm Scott May, and I am on my second iteration of Toastmasters with you all. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you so much. And I am distinguished Toastmaster Kip Barkley. I first encountered the word iteration in engineering school back when calculators were steam powered. Anyway, it was a mathematical problem solving thing. You take a bunch of parameters and drop them in and calculate for an answer. Then you take the answer and put it back in the calculation and do it again, which gets you closer. Then you take that answer and put it back in and get it closer. So the solution was an iterative process way back then. Now the cell phone does it so fast we can't tell. Very good. Welcome so much to Earlybird. Let's have a joke. We have a joke master. Unmute, Scott. Tell us.
Okay, as I went through some of my mother's items, I found this. I thought I would share it with you all. You're familiar with the Cat in the Hat? This is on aging, which none of us have hit yet. This is for us in the future because we're only old 10 years from now, and 10 years from now it'll be 10 more years. So here we go. So Cat in the Hat says, I cannot see, I cannot pee, I cannot chew, I cannot screw. Oh boy, what can I do? My memory shrinks, my learning stinks, no sense of smell, I look like hell. My mood is bad, can you tell? My body's drooping, have trouble pooping. The golden years have come at last, the golden years can kiss my ass. Sorry for the colorful language. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you so much. I miss Jerry Newcomb. He wasn't here to fall out of his chair. What can I say? But let's get on with our program. And we have a program today. Mary Helen Day is our Toastmaster of the day. Lead on.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. And Scott, you are so lucky we are here in virtual because there will be no fines for all those awful words that you shared with us this morning. We kind of thought they were funny anyway. So, hey, yes, we have a meeting going. And as Carmine Tuzo said, we have 15 in the room, I believe. And when you have 15 in the room, it is a meeting of great vibrancy and laughter and energy. So just so you don't know, and here we go with the so's again. In case you don't know what a Toastmaster meeting all about is, we have 3 parts. First, we have the table topics, extemporaneous speaking. We learn how to be witty, to share whatever we are at cocktail parties, and to thrill our partners and our friends. Then we go on to formal speeches, where our speakers have prepared wonderful speeches for us to hear and to share today. And then after that, they have the opportunity to be evaluated by our wonderfully experienced evaluator. So that's what a meeting is all about. You just have to see it and experience it to know that as well. We cannot do this meeting by ourselves, so we have helpers. And our first helper of the morning is our County, and that is Anna Ilson.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, the counter is responsible for noting the speaker's verbal pauses, that is the ahs, ers, you knows, likes, etc. The offender will be reminded with this virtual background that I have, with these graphics, which I will black out now when I finish. And at the end, you will be mentioned in my report at the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you,
Madam
Toastmaster Ilson. And our grammarian today is Toastmaster Marie Rock. Could you share us what the duties of a grammarian is?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster, I would be delighted. The grammarian will note the use of good language, naming the member and the example. Incorrect grammar will be corrected without reference to the member. The best grammar trophy, which is, let's see, the latest iteration of the iPhone, will be presented to the person who uses correct and or lively language during any part of the meeting. I will not rewrite speeches nor enter into the area of crutch words, since that is Toastmaster Ilson's job. The word of the day is iteration. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rock. And be careful, because there may be someone who wants your phone. So maybe you should just text them and give them a little taste of that. We're beginning our timer up there in the corner. Jim Gould has his hand up. That means that you can all see where he is. He's up there, and from my view, the left-hand corner of the screen. And he's not going to talk yet, but he's going to have a lot to say during the next 3 portions of our meeting. And introducing and being part of our first portion of the meeting of the day is our table topic master, Carmine Tuzo. You are on stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam General. I was going to say General Mary Helen Day. Look, she's laughing. I love it when she smiles and laughs. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today, you know what Table Topics is about. It's about being able to spontaneously speak on your feet about a random topic that you have no clue that's coming. And what it does is it enables you to enhance your ability to think spontaneously, which I've been reading a book called 7.5 Lessons About the Brain. Fantastic study by one of the neuroscientists from one of the universities in Massachusetts. And the brain is a highly reiterative network of neurons. I'll leave you to, if you're interested, you can go get the book on Zoom, whatever. Okay, first topic. These will be 2 words that are combined together in an unusual way, and you have to create something. This is what usually goes on in the Table Topics contest. You get 2 words, and you got to respond. Sometimes they look like they're weird, or sometimes they look like they're not so weird. So our first contestant before she has to run is Chris Gould. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Purple rain. And I'm not talking about the rock star Prince. Purple rain.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, Purple Rain without talking about Prince. Okay, I never understood what Purple Rain was with the song by Prince. So let me think of what it could be. Well, purple is a royal color. So maybe I'm imagining a procession of the king and queen down a parade route and it starts raining. Oh, what are people going to do? Well, it's the king and queen. You can't let them get wet. So everybody runs and gets their umbrellas and surrounds the king and queen and holds their umbrellas up over their head so that the rain doesn't turn purple on the king and queen's robes. I would like to be that queen. Whenever I walk outside and it starts raining, to have somebody run over and hold an umbrella and over my head, that would be appropriate, I think, for my standing in life. My husband comes close to that, but he doesn't always have an umbrella at hand. He does always open the door for me, though. That actually has been something I've had to learn how to handle, because I'm used to opening my own door, but no more. I make sure I stand there by the car. You know, he might still be a half a block away. I'll stand there and wait until he comes over to open the door for me. I am a queen, and I do like the color purple. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you for a creative storytelling. Our next topic, since we had the story about rain, a golf umbrella. Golf umbrella. If you don't know what a golf umbrella is, make it up. Jose, a golf umbrella.
A golf umbrella is a very dangerous thing, very dangerous. Not only can you hit people on the head with it, you can protect yourself from purple rain when it comes down. You can protect yourself from brown rain, as we're going to get here today because it's so dusty and it's going to rain later. But I hear a lot of people on golf courses get hit by lightning because they're holding on to golf umbrellas. Go figure. Now, that is a dangerous thing to have. Who invented that? If you're out in the field and you're playing golf, what's a little water? Why is it so bad? Why do you need a golf umbrella? Or is it for the sun? Is it because it's Florida and it's 185 degrees? Maybe we need the golf umbrella, not for water, not for purple rain, but we need it for the sun. I have made a commitment to go out to a golf club nearby here, take a look at how many people have golf umbrellas. They don't have golf carts over here. That's a novelty in the US. And people actually stroll with their little carts. And I can't imagine a golf umbrella, a golf cart, trying to hit the balls and having a beer all at once. Go figure. Back to you, Mr. Presiding, Mr. Topic Master. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm always inspired to see how people can think on their feet quickly. So now, since we're out on the golf course and it hasn't had purple rain yet, and you look up at the sky and you see an orange sky, orange sky, orange sky. Tom Quinn.
Tom is speaking.
Oh, he is. Sorry. Scott May, orange sky.
Mr. Table Topic Master.
Speaking.
Shall I continue?
Yes, please, please.
Okay.
You need a lot of experience, iteration.
Thank you, Carmine. I don't really understand why but I have an affinity for sunsets. I don't necessarily get it. And many years ago, I had the opportunity to buy a house at Fort Myers Beach. Oh, this was a fixer-upper. My father-in-law said, I'll help you decorate. I'll bring the matches. So fixing it up took many a weekend, and I would do all I could to get out of work on a Friday early enough to drive across Alligator Alley and get there before the sunset and witness that beautiful orange sky as it changed from the blue sky into a full rainbow set of colors. And something about that just rested well in my bones. Then when I was buying another house in Weston, I bought the house that faces west, that's furthest west. In fact, there wasn't a house west of me till Naples. So I could sit on my back porch and enjoy that beautiful orange sky. Well, now I live in trees. I don't see the orange sky anymore, and I miss it. So I look forward to the day when I can have that daily beautiful view of the setting sun and the orange sky. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you can tell, I have nothing prepared. So each speaker is giving me the clue to the next table topic. So Alita Richmond, this should be easy for you. We just heard about buying houses, fixing them up, but there was a word there that combined two words. Back porch. Back porch. Alita Richmond, back porch.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I don't have a back porch here. Back porches are very common in the rural area here and probably most everywhere because the front of the house is, that's the entranceway, but the back porch is where you go to have your own private time outside. I live in a place where any door is outside here. I do have a sun porch that is glassed in on the north side of my house. And I have a deck in the front, a pretty long deck. But I don't have a back porch. The back porch is good because, you know, usually there's a rocking chair out there. And if you're lucky, you have it facing the west so that the sun is going down. You can see the sunset. You should always have your bedrooms facing east so you can see the sun come up and it'll wake you up. That's what. But I don't have a back porch, but if I did, I'd be sitting on it, but I sit anywhere I want. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, thank you. And the next phrase is for our Sergeant at Arms, Randolph Bastine. I just heard the phrase private time. Private time. Toastmaster Bastine, private time.
Thank you, Mr. Topic Master. Private time. Private time is important for everyone because private time gives us the moment to collect our thoughts and reflect on our time spent with others and reconnect to self. Private time is rare, I would say, and I don't know if it's the culture, so I can't say rare everywhere based on where I'm at and the people in my environment who I speak to. It's always, you know, a rush or trying to keep up. So that with that type of energy and those things that's going on, is private time is not often. And you know, there's this thing in my house, which with 4 kids, private time is really tough. Like, cause I have to even tell the kids that, hey, you know what, bathroom time is private time. Just that's off the limits. Leave me alone. That's when you're there, you have your private time. When I'm, that's my private time. The youngest one is kind of now understanding that, because when he was just about a year ago, he has to sit and be in the bathroom with you. So yeah, private time is important. And I hope if we all take anything from this, let's all try to take at least 5 minutes for self today, somewhere in the day. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. I can't tell you how I'm enjoying doing this spontaneously too. So I think we have time for one more. So let's hear from our illustrious Northern member, Pam Scrimshire. Pam Scrimshire. I just heard the phrase collect and reflect. Collect and reflect. Pam Scrimshire, collect and reflect.
Thank you very much, Mr. Topic Master. Collect and reflect. Well, it's actually getting to where I can start to do this. And I'll tell you, Randolph, eventually you will have more private time. I can remember my children, who are spread over quite a few years, they would say, "What are you doing in there?" And you think, what do you think I'm doing in there? What do you think? But now they're gone. And guess what I have now? I have a cat who says, in cat language, "What are you doing in there? And I need to be in with you." So I don't actually still have a lot of private time to reflect or collect. What I am trying to do is reflect on some of the collections that I do have. And it's really hard when you get to a certain age. Should you keep this stuff or should you get rid of it? Well, the right answer is get rid of it. But I was over at a beach. Now, he calls me the northern person. This is as far north as I've ever lived, except for 3 years in Atlanta. I live in Central Florida. I'm a beachcomber. I was at a beach. I had to collect. I tried to take a picture and I didn't take home everything I collected, but I did take home some, because if you're a beachcomber and your whole life you've done this, you can't leave the beach. I even tried for a while only collecting trash, because that's something. And my kids and I had great fun making it into, we're going to use the word art extremely loosely, art. But you know what? There's hardly any trash on the beach anymore. It used to be you could always find a plastic bag and you always put your stuff in it. So that's probably good. I'm going to reflect that maybe we're getting better about that. But when you're raised as a beachcomber in Naples, Florida, you're always going to have a collection. And sometimes you'll reflect about it. Yeah, and sometimes you just enjoy seeing all those dang shells. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, all of you. You have inspired me and encouraged me, and I hope the rest of you, to listen carefully to how people use language on a strange topic, just like that. Let's hear from our timer. Mr. Timer, how did our contestants do today?
Well, it's about time you called on me, Mr. Topic Master. I wasn't called on, so I didn't do any timing, so too bad. Well, I did a little timing. All of our contestants qualified. The time was 1 to 2 minutes with a 30-second deviation at the end. Chris spoke on Purple Rain for 152, Jose 128, Scott May 125, Toastmaster Alita Richmond 123, Toastmaster Randolph Bastine 140, and Toastmaster Pam Scrimshire at 153. I think we have a poll here. Let me go look. Yeah, best table topics. Go ahead and vote. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Well, you'll get called another time. We didn't forget you.
You can hand the meeting over to me now, Carmine.
Ooh, I love that.
Turn over the meeting.
I'm now handing over in a gentleman way to our illustrious, distinguished Toastmaster, Mary Helen Day with the beaming smile and the beaming eyes. Miss-
Okay. Great topics, Toastmaster Tuzo, but now we have time to take a 5-minute break. So I'm going to call on our timer to set his watch and let us know when to get back from getting more coffee and doing all those things that Toastmaster Bastine talked about before.
Will do. 5 minutes on the clock.
Right. Hope all our evaluators are matched up with our speakers now. Just do
I
it.
do need some times. I think we have 3 speakers today.
Right.
It looks like
Toastmaster
we have
Lois Lane is 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
Lois
And-
Lane, you're 5 to 7 minutes. That's the norm. Okay. You can do
And then
that.
Scott's 4 to 6. That's an icebreaker. And then Tom's got a 5 to 7. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. That's correct.
We'll go with that then.
And Jim, feel free to make mine instead of 4 to 6 to just let it go longer if you don't mind. just throwing that out there.
Oh.
Well, Scott, as long as you're going to evaluate your own speech one day, I think that's appropriate, but not today.
Yes, Scott, we have to get this little doggy back in the corral because we're very, we're very structured here. And if you don't pay attention to your time, you know that's gonna mean, right?
You gotta watch that structure around here.
Yeah, we gotta watch that structure.
Hyper punctual. Hyper
It's like-
punctual. Oh
it's
my
like-
God.
It's almost like gravity. You know it's there.
Yeah, it is like gravity.
It's a wonderful iteration. You guys help.
I love Marie's. Peaksters. We should have sunflowers.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Chris said she's heading off to the airport.
Yeah.
So here was a little bit of levity. I was at the airport checking in at the gate when an airport employee asked, "Has anyone put anything in your baggage without your knowledge?" To which I replied, "If it was without my knowledge, how would I know?" He smiled knowingly and nodded, "That's why we ask." Oh, government employees.
Yep. Flying is an adventure. Used to be fun.
That's when people would dress up when they would go to the airport. Now they're in shower slippers and baggy, stretch pants, and it's not a big deal.
It's a lot more comfortable that way, though.
Well, probably is, but there's a social item that is missing,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and the dignity of it, it's different, like you say. It's much different. Not as much fun.
Yeah, yesterday they hauled one of the airline pilots off the airline. I can't remember which one it was. And
JetBlue.
JetBlue for being 3 or 4 times the limit on inebriation level.
0.17 or something. He was out there.
I think he probably felt he was working for Aeroflot.
Excuse me. I would like to ask Scott if he would please send me his email address in the chat.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm horrified when I see some of these videos of fistfight on the plane and the restraint. I'm just like, what's happening to the culture in terms of some dignity and social graces? I mean, some of it is just so bizarre to me.
The world has gone Meshuggah.
Or at least we know more about it. I wonder if this always has happened or it's just a recent phenomena.
never
Chris,
saw.
I'm wishing you a good flight. None of this will happen on your flight. We're sending peace and serenity to you and your trip. Don't think about this.
I'm just taking carry-on stuff, so I hope to not have too many problems. But yeah, from here to Reno, Nevada, it's going to take 12 hours and with two stops.
Ooh.
So I have to fly to and there was no other choices unless I wanted to leave at 6 a.m. and no.
Okay. It's 5 minutes, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, we're going to turn back on our cameras and we are present for the next portion of our meeting because this is the meat and potatoes and the meat and potatoes and vegetable meal. Yes, it is our speeches, and we are so excited today because we have some great speakers coming on board, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Our first speaker of the morning.
Oh, don't forget about me this too.
Oh,
no. Don't you do it too. That would be another iteration
sorry,
of
Jim.
a gross misjustice
Jim,
here.
I am so sorry. Go ahead. Please tell us the timing for our speeches.
Madam Toastmaster, time is as required in the project with a 30-second deviation at the beginning or the end to qualify. I will turn on the green light at time required, the yellow light a little bit later, and the red light at the end. So 5, 6, and 7, and 4, 5, and 6 for our speeches today. Madam Toastmaster.
So Toastmaster, Mr. Timer, so we can give you a little more airtime. What is going to happen when people start to go over time? What are you going to be doing?
Madam Toastmaster, I will just take some extraordinary measures if they go over time. There's a 30-second deviation at the end. If they go over a little bit more, I'll probably just mute them and start talking myself.
Well, there you go. There is a timer for you. All right, our first speaker of the morning. This lady, Lois Lane Radding, is one of our newer members. She enjoys and she does continuing to learning, enjoying, and growing in her life. The title of Lois's speech today is What Gives Life Meaning and Purpose? Please welcome Lois Lane Radding.
Yay, 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 yay. Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, my honored guests, today I look at my life, 88 years. 88 years of experiences, strengths, and hopes. I have a new way of thinking and feeling and choices. My time is spent on learning, enjoying, and giving back. I have light, food, and nourishment every day. What have I have passions for? Movement. My eyes see everything. I take pictures as I witness the positives of spin of life's surprises. I try to master self-discipline and create new habits. Life can be interesting because being interested is the first desire to be interesting. Opportunity knocks on my door anytime. Making a choice to do it is another choice. When I make a commitment, I think, what will I achieve if I do it? My journey will be enriched with new people, new pictures to take in my mind. My physical being has slowed down, and my mental capacity and growth with more wisdom and more sharing of being available to myself. I need food. Friendships now. When I wake up in the morning, I feel my breath and listen to the sounds of stillness. What beauty in listening to my heart. Beat, beat. Almost like music. Playing to sway. What I say to myself is the most important part of life. Thank you for another day of awareness and prayer. And prayer, the higher power guides me to push myself and enrich happy thoughts. My purpose is to touch anyone I meet along the way. A smile, a nod, even a hi. How you doing? I believe in living each day, letting wisdom seep in. Every day I give myself a gift. My head is like a library, remembering all the places and the people I met along the way. Many years have passed, and you never know who you gave a gift to. Singing joys of prayers, hymns, God's words give love and meaning to a purpose of being a messenger to world society. The journey of life is when the doors to your heart open and treasures fall at your feet. We take baby steps and cradle our own future as we age and mature to life's journey. Madam President.
Thank you, Lois. Make sure you send Lois a private chat, giving her some support, and all of our speakers this morning, even though officially we do have evaluators for our speakers, all of our speakers appreciate the extra little comments that we do make in the chat. Our second speaker of the moment of the day. Well, we can't tell you anything about this gentleman because he's doing an icebreaker. So I'm going to let him tell you all about himself. And that person is Toastmaster Scott May.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning. Wow, what a nice looking bunch. As a returning Toastmaster today, I'm sharing another iteration of the icebreaker speech. And as I pondered what to share today, I decided to start at the bottom and move upward. So here is a condensed version of all the trauma I've experienced in my life. Lucky you. And please note, this is trauma with a small t, as I've been truly blessed. So here we go. My mom left when I was 11. My first wife rekindled with her old flame throughout our 17 years of marriage until I finally figured it out. While gardening, bamboo punctured my leg with a deadly bacteria called necrotizing fasciitis. And I have calcification of the arteries. I'm actually a borderline walking heart attack. How about that for an uplifting way to start a speech? It's all true. But actually, these are really small potatoes. I believe in 2 rules of life. Rule 1, don't sweat the small stuff. And rule 2, it's all small stuff. And when I see real trauma out there, I'm reminded that my challenges are teeny tiny. Systemic racism, income inequality, climate change, cancer, school shootings, and now Ukraine. These are trauma with a capital T, and a stark reminder that I am blessed. Plus, I must acknowledge my unearned privilege, being white, male, tall, able-bodied, and hetero. My mom leaving was actually okay. She really wasn't very maternal, and she raised us to be independent. Figure out life for yourself. She had a PhD, and she gave us a stack of pre-signed blank notes so we could skip school anytime, write whatever we want, pre-signed Dr. May. Now, cutting ties with my first wife, well, that was what I should have done. I knew I should have done it before walking down the aisle in the first place. And then I met Carolyn, an amazing woman, and now my wife, 15 years. They say with age comes wisdom, and this time around, I chose wisely. Now, with that leg puncture, a big thank you to Kip's wife, Christine, a friend and nurse who told me, go to the ER. I was falsely thinking, it'll heal by itself. Well, once in the ER, they moved me right to surgery and said, this doesn't look good. There's 3 possible outcomes. Each are equally likely. 1, this will kill you. 2, you will lose the leg. Or 3, you'll keep the leg, but you'll never walk again. You want to proceed? Yes, do it. And I remember waking up from surgery, glancing down towards my feet, seeing 2 feet, cheering, yes. I healed. And 4 months later, I ran a 5K. And after ignoring high cholesterol for years, it finally caught up with me with clogged heart arteries. But I can still do a lot. A couple summers ago, my wife and I climbed a 14er in Colorado. That's a 14,000-foot mountain. And last fall, we did a sprint triathlon. Oh, I'm slow, but I can still do it. So yes, I am blessed. No real trauma in 58 years, not even with a small t. I have 4 college-educated kids, 2 awesome sons, 2 awesome stepdaughters, and a 7-month-old grandson. This weekend, we all travel to my wife's parents in DC, 4 generations together for the first time. So for me, after a couple of college degrees, I worked in corporate America for 30 years, the last 15 as an executive. And 5 years ago, I got fed up and quit. I was disillusioned with spending my life to maximize shareholder value. I walked away from the corner office, the stock options. I left the rat race because even if you win, you're still a rat. So these last 5 retired years have been pretty sensational. My wife and I toured the country in an RV with our golden retriever. Thank you to the Goulds for inspiration. Plus several road trips abroad. And in 2 weeks, we take the family to Iceland. I devote my time to nonprofits, volunteering, and serving on several boards. I also devote a lot of time to mindfulness. I teach many classes, and it's a hell of a lot more fulfilling to help people versus maximizing shareholder value. I also consult part-time, keeping my brain busy and the bank account happy. So what's next for me? Well, I have some ideas, yet I plan to let it unfold. I am blessed in so many ways. And this morning, I'm blessed to be with you. Thank you for listening, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Scott. And be sure you give Scott a good welcome back to the group. He is a great addition to our motley crew, as they say. Our third speaker of the morning has something important to say. Yes. Toastmaster Tom Quinn is doing dynamic leadership. Which is writing a speech with purpose. And the title of his speech, well, before I tell you that, I'm going to tell you about him. All his life, he has been a dog person. Then 3 years ago, something changed in his life. And this is the story about that change. The title of Tom's speech is Be Open to Changes as They Present Themselves. Please welcome Toastmaster Tom Quinn.
Bless your heart, Mary Helen. Fellow Toastmasters, it is a difficult chore for me to follow Scott's beautiful icebreaker. However, I'm going to try. Always in my life, I've had dogs. 3 years ago, something happened. I was in my backyard and I saw a flash of an object go by. It had a striped tail and I wasn't sure if it was a raccoon or what it was. All I knew, it went fast. Excuse me. I found out it was a cat who in 3 years decided to take over my backyard and to live there. And while I'm a dog person, and at the time I had 2 Shih Tzus, a cat to me was something that was sort of disdainful. I looked at a cat as being like sissy, you want a dog, you want to be a man, even a Shih Tzu is, but a cat, well, it was not an iteration of what I thought an animal or a pet should be. Maybe it was because they were so darned elusive, so difficult to really connect with. A cat may look you in the eye, but if it does, it's telling you something. A dog will look at you in the eye and say, I want something. Maybe it was a question of leadership or submissiveness. I still can't figure it out. But for 3 years, that animal stayed in my backyard. That was his kingdom. That's where he lived. And I would feed him, and I picked him up, and he would allow me to pet him and to take care of him. And we gave him food and water and all of that. And it went on, and it was fun. He really didn't warm up too much because a cat is a cat. They're very independent. However, when it got cold, as it did here not too long ago in January, I felt concerned for the cat, and I was concerned so much that I opened up my sliding glass door to let him in to the house where it was warm, and he did that. He came in, he sat next to me in my chair as I would watch television, and I had some food there, and he would sort of take a snack. And then he nuzzled up, of course, to the wall to sort of find a place that he'd be protected from the cold. And it was then I thought, well, I'm going to have him stay inside. I'm going to let him just because it's cold. So I closed the sliding glass door and he was trapped in the house. And I went upstairs, took a shower, got into bed, started to read a book. And something flashed out of the corner of my eye. The cat, who'd never been, to my knowledge, my upper floor, had jumped into my bed. He was next to me. And he looked at me with eyes of gratitude. And he just sort of lay down next to me, nuzzled up, and he made himself comfortable. He adjusted. It was a big change to me. It was a shock to me. I was surprised, but I slept that night, petted him, woke up in the middle of the night, petted his head. Oh my God. He just rolled over and he wanted to play and he was so happy. And it was the joy that I experienced with this animal that was something different to me. He was alive, filled with enthusiasm. And he brought me enthusiasm of ownership, of having a relationship with him. It was interesting. And I thought, well, that's a one-off thing. And when the weather got warm, he went back outside. But no, he comes back in. It's an interesting process for him. And I suppose it's interesting for me, this journey with this animal that type of animal that I never thought possible. And it was a stretch. And he was just such fun. Now, when I get him into the house and he welcomely comes in, I don't know where the heck he is. I don't know if he's upstairs, downstairs, under the bed, in the closet. I have no idea. This animal is in 7 places at one time. It's just amazing to me. He and I have built a relationship that I never thought possible. He is a joy. He's interesting. He's very territorial. And with my one Shih Tzu, I have one left, the other one passed. It's interesting to see that. I'll tell you, the other day, we were getting out of bed, the cat and I, and the dog came upstairs. And the dog and the cat saw each other, and they both made a beeline for the stairs to get the heck out at the same time because they don't like to be with one another. And their bodies bounced off each other, and they gribble-crabbled down the stairs. It was just amazing to see them skippering around so fast. It was a riot. They couldn't get apart quicker than oil and water. But there they were. And they were peaceful. They don't fight. They just look at each other, distance, maybe with the same look I had when I first saw the cat. My hope is to give you a message that you'll carry in your heart as a result of my speech, to be open to change, to be willing to take what God gives you and to make the most out of it. I think that's what our purpose here is in life, and that certainly is the purpose I've found here at Toastmasters. Madam Toastmaster, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Again, send Tom a little note in the chat. Tell him what you thought of his speech. And now we're going to hear what the professionals have to say about those speeches. Yes, our evaluators this morning. And to lead our evaluators is our general evaluator, Kip Barkley.
Thank you so much, Mary Helen
I
Day.
think we should do the time and the polling and that kind of stuff.
Oh, you know what, Toastmaster Gould, I think it's appropriate that you're very assertive this morning because we are losing our minds here again. So Toastmaster Gould, so sorry one more time.
Hey, Toastmasters don't apologize.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, we have 2 qualifications and 1 disqualification. Unfortunately, our newest Toastmaster, not our newest, actually, she can't claim that anymore. Toastmaster Lois Lane Ratting requested 5 to 7. She went over by a few seconds, 7:48. Toastmaster Scott May and his icebreaker 5:10, and Toastmaster Tom Quinn 7:01. Scott and Tom qualify. Let's see, do we have a poll? I bet you we do. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, so vote for either Scott May or Tom Quinn. Those are the 2 qualified speakers. And now we can let's get that general evaluator going here. Toastmaster Barkley.
Let's get the general evaluator going because evaluations is what makes Toastmasters special. Here you hear details and encouragement on your presentation. However, you do also have to heed the timer. Mr. Timer, what are the rules for evaluation?
Mr. General Evaluator, time is 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second deviation at the beginning or the end. The green will come on at 2, the yellow at 2.5, and the red at 3. 3:30 is the time you have, and we'll get you out of here pretty quick. Mr. General Evaluator.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now, to evaluate Lois Lane Redding is Randolph Bastine. Go for it.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And to Lois Lane, thank you. Thank you for such wonderful speech. Lois, you have an iteration of beautiful energy, and I really enjoy every time you speak. You have such honest presence. If you were in the business of sales, I must say that, and you were selling me something, I would always buy without a doubt because it's just your energy that you portray, that you know, it's not just, it's you. I was going to say 88. When you said 88, I was like, wow. And that just instantly gave me such an inspiration because, you know, when you think about life and you think about, you know, what you can be, and then there's so many things we see good and bad in life, and you know, your energy, like that you have right now, and your speeches always come off like with your, and also like how your expressions, when you said my physical being is slowing down, you brought me into a place where that I kind of got lost in seeing you, how my physical being is slowing down, and I was there with, it's like I was there with, like watching the movie, and you know, I feel my breath. The only things I would say probably as far as kind of I guess working on the lighting, like maybe because the blinds were open, I'm not sure, the lighting was a little, it was like, it was a mood, and if that's what you were going for, that was it. There was like a mood that was set. And reading the notes, like we have some great Toastmasters here that read notes, and when they're reading, I need to practice that myself. Like, we can't even really tell, but like when reading the notes, like if there were no notes and your attention was only to the audience, I can almost see imagine this speech on like a TED Talk stage or something, because your expressions are so beautiful in the way you slow down and you bring it back up. So I just really appreciate you as a person. I always enjoy your speeches because they are so inspirational. And once again, 88 with such great, beautiful energy. Wow. I look forward to, hopefully, whatever you're doing, send out a note and let us know so how we can do that when we're there. Thank you, Lois.
Thank you, Randolph. Very good, very good. Now, to evaluate our second speaker, our returning Toastmaster, Scott May, is our very own Alita Richmond. Yay!
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and particularly Toastmaster Scott May. You identified yourself right off the bat as a returning Toastmaster. So my expectations, I've already heard that you were in Toastmasters before. I've never met you before. I don't know you. A lot of our members do know you. But since I know that you are have been a Toastmaster, my expectations are pretty high for you. First of all, I would say that what I particularly liked was how you appeared in the beginning. You are there. You look like a professional radio announcer or something there. You were very comfortable. The organization of your speech was pretty interesting, that you started off talking about all of the challenges that you had in your life. But the overall theme was how blessed you are, that the traumas and challenges in your life, that does not define who you are, that you are absolutely very blessed. As an icebreaker, it's to tell us about you. And so I got a great overview of your whole life, essentially. First of all, you speak so clearly and distinctly. You have a great use of words, the English language. However, I think that your vocal variety could use a little pump up. It was almost slightly bland. And I'm going to attribute that to what it appeared to me that you were reading your entire speech. You had good eye contact, but it was below the camera. It was as if you were reading your speech. And this is something, you're telling us about yourself. I'm sure you know what you were going to say. Also, your gestures could use a little bit of improvement because there were not a lot of gestures. Now, obviously, you knew the audience was there. You know these people, a lot of them, and a lot of us are new to you too. But you seem to be incredibly comfortable speaking to us. I loved the chronological listing of your challenges and how they were minor compared to the big scheme of things, and you recognized your blessings and you told us of your blessings, your wife, your family, your travels, the fun things you do. We are so delighted to have you back with Earlybird Toastmasters, and I look forward to your next speeches. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Alita Richmond. Now, to evaluate our third speaker, Tom Quinn, is Toastmaster Jim Day.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. As always, a phenomenal speech. I listened and watched, and as I was watching you talk about the cat and the dog, in the Zoom format, it's very difficult to use hand gestures and body language, etc. But you have made up for that limitation in Zoom by your facial expressions and your vocal variety. I was watching everybody else on the screen in the gallery view, and everybody was just glued to you. They were so attentive because you drew them in with a great vocal variety and using the subject of your cat and how you opened yourself up to that new opportunity, and not just having your dog, but you went on into the speech and showed not only your relationship with the cat, but your dog's relationship with a cat. You covered multiple feelings that you were having and feelings that your dog was having. So you have expressed or brought into this the opening of ideas and the accepting opportunities as they were presented, not only you, but your dog and your cat. So it was a multiple directional feelings and acceptance of opportunities. That was really great. You have a phenomenal comfort level, which is shown through your smooth, continuous speaking. There were no hesitations. You were not reading documents. You had good eye contact into the camera, but not staring into the camera. You moved your eyes up and down and left and right a little bit, slight movement of the head, never leaving the camera, but showing your emotions and showing your expressions while you were there. Did you meet the purpose of the speech? Absolutely. You described not one, not two, but 3 different interfaces, you, the cat, and the dog. I really don't have any suggestions for improvement. I thought this is one of the best speeches I've heard from you. Overall, great job. Keep doing it. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Day. Mr. Timer, how did our people do?
Well, let's see here now. Okay, all of our evaluators did qualify this morning with nearly perfect times. Toastmaster Randolph Bastine, 2 minutes, 59 seconds. Toastmaster Alita Richmond, 2:58, and Toastmaster Jim Day, 2:57. Mr. General Evaluator.
Very good. Very good. Now I get the call. Oh, yes, vote, vote, vote. Vote early. Vote often here. Well, Kip Barkley is a surrogate for Jim Day, but that's okay. That's okay. Do that. Moving down our agenda here, now I ask our helpers how we did at our meeting. Our grammarian, Marie Rock.
Distinguished Toastmaster Barkley and fellow Toastmasters, the grammarian also notes the mispronunciations of words, and we had many today. For an articulate, intelligent, well-educated group, many mispronunciations. Mostly the word gonna, hafta, lotta, for ya, a lotta. Fellow Toastmasters, please pay attention to your diction. We had so much lively language, it was very hard to keep track of it all. Carmine, reiterative network of neurons. Illustrious, distinguished Toastmaster. Scott, affinity for sunsets. I'll help you decorate. I'll bring the matches. Rested in my bones. Another iteration of the icebreaker. Borderline walking heart attack. Stark reminder, I am blessed. Randolph, reconnect to self. Bathroom time is private time. Collect and reflect. Honest presence, like watching a movie. Imagine speech on TED Talks. Beautiful energy. Pam, we are going to use the term art rather loosely. Lois, witness the positive life surprises. Listen to the sounds of stillness, letting wisdom seep in my head. Oh, letting wisdom seep in. My head is like a library. You never know who you're going to give a gift to. The journey of life is when your heart opens. Let's see, Alita, a tribute to chronological. Jim Day, glued to you, multiple directional feelings, phenomenal comfort level, 3 interfaces. Hard to choose. Oh my goodness, Tom Quinn. A cat is a cat, very independent. He brought me enthusiasm of relationships, a message you can carry in your heart. Be open to change. The Grammarian trophy of the latest update iteration goes to Lois Lane Redding.
Yay! Very good. That Lois talks good. Mr. Zoom Master, do you have any observations on our technology this time around? And how's my microphone doing?
Your microphone sounds just fine. Toastmaster Tom Quinn's microphone gets a little scratchy sometimes, so he has to be muted. But other than that, everyone is pretty good. I'm looking at the Hollywood Squares here, and everybody looks so good. I think we have learned a lot over these past couple of years in COVID times. Sound is good, video's good, getting better all the time.
Excellent. I use a conference microphone instead of my laptop microphone because that makes me not sound like I'm in a barrel. But there are a lot of toys out there, always more toys to buy. But there's also ahs out there, our ah counter. Anna Ilson, what did you hear?
I heard Toastmaster Alita Richmond, 2 ums and 1 so. Toastmaster Randolph Bastine, 2 you knows, 5 ums and 1 so. And Toastmaster Tom Quinn, 2 ums. That's my report.
Great. And a good meeting once again. We have pulled it off. I am impressed with us. As your VP of Education, I am still offering and pushing pathways. Lois, I'll be thrilled to come over and coach when convenient for both of us. I'll show up on time. Carmine, I'll be delighted to come over. Jose, I'd love to visit. My travel budget is a little weak, but Zoom would work. Pathways to there's lots of places to get stuck and whatever, and why am I here? I can get you through that. Paulo has yet to do anything in Pathways other than choose a path, and he's on his 6th speech. And then Scott is here. Yes, see what I'm up against. I'll be after you too. There is an educational program here. The plan is we follow it, and I'm the nudge. So that's what I can say about our meeting. We do good meetings, though. Love it, love it. Back to the Toastmaster of the day, Mary Helen Tay.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And that is the position I call the bully pulpit, because we get to either just speak our minds, tell this group what we need to do, or we can eulogize them in such a nice way as you did, Toastmaster Barkley.
Yay.
The winners. Aren't we here just to find out who the winners are? No, not really, but we do have winners. And the winners of our table topics this morning was Toastmaster Randolph Bastine. Oh, I didn't wait for the drum. I'm sorry, Toastmaster Gould. We are messing up this show. But next, we're going to wait for you for the best evaluator, and that would be.
Oh, wait. I'm not ready. Go ahead.
That's all right. Toastmaster Jim Day, congratulations.
Yay!
And our better speaker this morning is Toastmaster Tom Quinn. So we've had a great meeting, everyone, and we have our, what are you calling your acting officer? The acting, presiding officer.
Acting
Okay.
interim temporary presiding officer.
He is our, yes, but you know, you have a lot of experience at doing that, Toastmaster Barkley. So let's see what you have up your sleeve for the next part of our meeting.
All right. Well, other people can have an opportunity to practice presiding officer. You're supposed to be a club officer. Well, you know, we do what we want at Earlybird. Now, moving right along to the planning of the next meeting, looking down the calendar, in 2 weeks, we're meeting on